Bro,
Brian, how are you, brother?
doing all right. How's it coming across? Is it
Yeah,
you
your
got good
sounds.
audio?
Yeah, yep, good audio. Look at you, it's like ready to go. All headphones, all the backdrop. Jesus Christ, it's just me, Brian.
It's all good. This is how I talk to everybody that calls me.
Are you sure?
Well,
You're like more
maybe,
prepared than anyone else.
maybe I don't set up the light. That one thing I may not do is set up the light. That's very possible.
No, no, no. It looks really good. I mean, from my end, it looks really good. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine.
Okay. How's everything with you? Anything new?
I mean, phew, there's something new every other day, man.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean,
How do you cope with this? How do you cope with this coronavirus pandemic, end of the world, whatever that people call it?
well,
Huh?
pretty well. I think I feel like I'm doing. I'm somewhat young. I'm fairly healthy. I work from home usually anyway, unless I'm going up to Freedom Breeder. Um, I work from home, but I also travel around to wherever things are happening. So it's a little more of the stay at home versus the traveling around part to balance it out. So, and it's only been about a week of that so far. So it's not like it's not too crazy yet. It's feeling a little bit weird just knowing that there's lots of other people staying at home as well. That's a little
Yeah.
different. I know I'm at home working and other people are out there. Now I know that lots of people aren't out there. And then every time I check any kind of social media or any kind of media whatsoever, it's in your face all the time. So it's like you can't avoid it without. I don't know. We're at home. That's kind of what it is for now. But compared to people who are sick or people who are working in hospitals or people who are more affected because they're out of work because of the reaction to the virus, I'm feeling pretty fortunate compared to how many other people must be dealing with it out there for sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
A
How
lot
about
of
you?
people like
Is it affecting you at all?
Not like in the like a major way, because pretty much like all the things that I've been doing so far is majority like online, except if I have to like like go meet someone, which is what I've been doing so far, because it's really hard to do over the phone or like conference calls, and then people wanna like see you and then like shake your hands and then sit down,
Yeah,
have
shaking
coffee,
hands is kind of a big no-no right now,
Oh
isn't
yeah,
it?
this is gonna be like no, no, yeah. But like I mean, me personally, just to tell you the truth, I'm not really afraid. Like I'm not saying that I'm ignorant by all means, but like knowing what's going on because like people only most of the time they only read like the headlines, right? Like, oh my God, 54 people died, and that's it. This is the end of the world, right? We all gonna die. But if you
Yeah,
dig,
I've never been a
deep
headlines
into
guy.
yeah, that's very good because that's what majority of people, like been doing. They just like read the headlines and that's it. They don't even read the whole thing, because I've talked to like few people's like even one of our family doctors that he actually explained it to us like in like details. Like this is pretty much just like a flu, but maybe like 15 times more crucial, like more fatal. But however, it only attack you if you have like a like a really weak immune system, which is especially like all people that have issue with their respiratory or like their lung or things like that. That's what
It's kind of
happened.
almost
But
like an overreaction from the immune system, right? That's the thing that really causes you the issues.
yeah, but other than that, I mean, like we both still young, and then I'm not saying that we just like neglect and then being ignorant. I'm not saying that, but still, like wash your hands and then get your supplements. Make sure if you don't do anything stupid outside, But there's nothing to like like panic about. This is not the end of the world. And the funny thing is, people more worry about paper towels instead of like food. That's the only thing that I just
Uh,
don't understand. Like what's going on here? You know?
I put up a video offering to send anybody a roll of toilet paper if
Oh,
they
you did?
needed a roll. Yeah, because I've got a few here, and we've got a bidet that we use instead of paper most of the time. So
Oh, okay.
I'm actually sending a roll out tomorrow to somebody who replied back and said they actually had to scrounge up one. They're not able to get another roll until the first of next month, I think. So I'm literally
Oh,
sending a roll of toilet paper to somebody tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. And then
Small
for
little
those
things.
probably that for those that listening about like this conversation, and then if they still need like like paper towels or things like that, don't go to like supermarket because that's what majority of the people gonna go, right? So go to like like Lowe's or like Home Depots or like order it online like Amazon or like I don't know Uline. Uline still have that like commercial paper towel kind of stuff. They still have it.
Yep.
So don't
Sure.
don't worry. I mean there's a lot of people fighting
It's
over
funny to
paper
me,
towel.
like,
I
because it
don't
seems like the
understand
majority of
though.
people that I hear from, it's all the toilet paper thing's a big joke. But then there's people out there that
No.
I don't know, maybe it's the silent minority that's out there buying up all the toilet paper and not saying anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, have you seen that video like on YouTube? People like fighting over paper. I mean, no joke. Like a lot of like my friends send me the link. I'll send it to you. But this
I
old
haven't seen
lady,
it. No,
like fighting.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Oh
gonna
my
watch it.
God. Yeah. So yeah,
It-
it's just like
like the Christmas
hilarious.
shopping line fights or something. It's not. It doesn't appeal to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't make sense because I thought like during this like pandemic where people more worry about like food, right? Like especially when you have kids. But yeah, everything is fine. Like the milk are fine, and then all the canned food are still there, but the paper towel gone. Doesn't make sense at all. But
I honestly, I haven't been to the store since it all started. We've had
yeah,
enough food stocked up, kind of from Costco, and my wife
yeah.
plants vegetable stuff like that.
Oh,
We've
that's
got
good.
a buddy who
Yeah,
raises cows, and we've got meat from them from a while back. And
yeah.
she's gone to the store once or twice to pick up
Mhm.
some stuff. Like she'll have
Mhm.
they have services where they'll allow you to pull up in the parking lot and they'll bring it out to you. And she's definitely on the forefront for our family as far as trying to enact the social distancing and make that a reality for us to not spread it to older folks. I think all of
Yeah,
us have had grandparents at one point. We don't want to be responsible for somebody else's grandmother or grandfather contracting the disease, because they're the ones that are
yeah,
most susceptible. It seems. But yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it's doing pretty well. All things considered, it seems like
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's like really good to
lucky that I
hear,
don't
though.
have to work
Yeah,
at a hospital or something. I feel like those are the people on the front lines right now. Anybody who
yeah.
works in a hospital is
Mhm.
they're going through it probably.
Yeah, but the only thing, I think they know like what's going on. People like like working at the hospitals. I mean, the reason they still willing to go to work because they know it's not like like fatal or like it's gonna like
Yeah,
when
it's
you
not
touch
turning
something you're
people
gonna
into
die
zombies that are
tomorrow.
eating things. Sure, sure. Yeah, it's not a zombie
Yeah,
apocalypse. That would be a
yeah,
little more
yeah, which is
distressing.
fine. Yeah, I mean, I know this is like a gloomy whatever like that, but if we take the positive side, at least it's gonna teach people to live healthy or live clean, right? Because people are really
Sure.
nasty sometimes in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, but yeah. Did you go to Tinley last Tinley, the one that got canceled?
I arrived there, so we were leaving from Australia, and we had a layover in LA.
Oh my
And the funny
god.
thing, I was joking with everybody, like, I should just jump
Uh-huh.
out here and go home. Like, it's been a long trip already, but the show was still on at that point, so we left LA, landed in Salt Lake City. The show was still on
Mm-hmm.
at that point. I made a post
Yeah.
about Dave and I needed a ride
Oh,
because
Dave.
he screwed
Okay.
up the ride. And then we
Oh,
landed in Chicago, and the
mm-hmm.
moment we landed in Chicago is when we found out, it was an official post from NARBC on their
Yeah.
page that the governor had shut down all events over 1,000 people, and
Yeah.
Tinley falls right within that. So the second I
Yeah.
landed and found out it was canceled, I was bummed
Yeah.
because we were going to be having a thing for Forrest there, and there's I just
Yeah.
was
I know.
excited to see everybody. I actually decided that this was gonna be the first show I attended and not film. Like I was just gonna go and hang out with everybody and enjoy everybody's
Okay.
company and not worried about filming any of it. The first time I would have ever done that, but nope. Just instead
Yeah.
found out the thing was canceled, and I was like, all right. I went straight back to the ticket counter and told people I was like, I was supposed to leave on Tuesday, but if I could leave now, that would be great. And they changed my ticket with no charge, and so that part of it was. I was fortunate on the Tinley side too. I know a lot of other people had already driven out with all their animals.
Oh
And
yeah.
like Garrett in particular was an hour away with
Yeah.
a 24-foot trailer, a 3-vehicle
I know.
caravan with all his family. Like, yeah. But I was there. I was in Chicago the day that we were supposed to get there. So yeah.
Yeah, because they
Unfortunate.
cancel it like the same day, right? Like in the morning, I believe, right? Like early in the
The
morning.
day they canceled it
Yeah.
on Thursday. They put the announcement out on
Oh,
Thursday.
Thursday. I thought it was like Friday morning. Oh, okay. Okay.
No, it was Thursday because I got in on Thursday and I was planning to be there at the hotel that night to be set up on Friday the next day.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just Unfortunately, so they're gonna reschedule it for June, right?
I heard that.
That's
I
it.
don't know
Yeah.
if that's what I did hear that. I couldn't say officially. I haven't talked to Brian
Mm-hmm.
personally about it or anything, but I did hear
Right.
that they were trying to reschedule in June. But who's to say if
Yeah.
that's going to happen? It sounds like they're planning to just
Not.
have like our
Yeah.
school system was shut down for the month, and it sounds
Yeah.
like it's more like the school is going to be shut down for the rest of
The
the year.
the whole year. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I heard too. So yeah, it just I don't know. I don't think like the government and then us like in general is like ready to face this kind of like issues. It's kind of like caught us in the middle of nowhere.
We weren't
So
prepared
that's
for
why
stockpiles. There's with
I don't think
with the
so.
exception
Yeah.
of people who are like preppers and were ready with all these canned goods and they're always ready for this type of thing. I think you're right. The majority weren't
Yeah.
ready.
It's only like what, like 3% maybe.
Sure, could be
Majority of the
something like
people.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we at
Other
least
than
always
that,
have a bunch
yeah.
of water stocked up. Water. I feel like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's food that grows around us readily, so we're not.
Yeah.
We're semi. Like the one thing would be bummers to be like kind of where you're at is in the middle of the city. You're
Yeah.
probably pretty okay where you're at, but that's
Yeah.
the one thing I remember always hearing, especially in like movies, like
Yeah.
avoid big cities when there's some kind of pandemic or catastrophe. You want to be away from big cities. I was
Yeah.
like, well, thank you,
Yeah.
universe, for allowing me to live my normal life away from a big city.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always ready, and then the funny thing is because like last year, I started to learn how to hunt, and
Oh,
then
good. Good
the
for you.
whole family, yeah, the whole family is like, oh, see, I mean, you should not, like killing animals, and then that's like violence, and then this happens, right? Now they cannot say a thing, so I'm like, see, I told
I
you,
mean,
I have to be
unless you're
ready.
completely vegan, you don't really have a place to say about not to
No.
kill animals
Yeah.
or not. Unless
Yeah.
you're in that spot where you like literally have nothing to do with any animals dying, then you got a
Yeah.
platform to stand on and speak
Yeah.
about that. But,
Yeah.
unless you get all of your meals from plants, which some people
I mean,
do.
I can do like both, but like in general, I mean, if something happens, right? I mean, you cannot be like choosy or picky, right? I mean, you're just trying to survive, pretty much.
Sure.
So having
Yeah, absolutely.
that kind of like skilled type, I think it's more like crucial. And then I love doing it too because like going outdoor and then adventures, and then just in case something happens, you never know, you know. But
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
being prepared to tackle the wilderness is always a good
Yeah.
thing. That's what I like to spend a
Yeah.
lot of my time out there. I used to do that
Yeah.
a lot in Hawaii. I didn't stay in a house for a long time. I'd just be out there, kind of living
Yeah.
off the land. It's
Yeah.
it's enjoyable too. It reconnects you with nature a little more than what we're so disconnected
Yeah.
with nature most of the time these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's nice to get back.
away from these crazy people too sometimes.
Sure. It's a crazy
Yeah.
world, with a lot of crazy people. There's no doubt about that, man.
I know, yeah, just like insane. But okay, so you went to Australia with Dave, right?
Yep, went out with Dave, and
Yeah.
we were also with
Uh-huh.
a couple of other Australians for the first half of the trip, and then Cannon
Okay.
from Camp Cannon came made up with us at the
Oh,
expo
Camp
and
Cannon.
spent the second half of the trip
Okay.
with us. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that
Did you
was
go
fun,
for
man.
like
That
the
was
show or just like
blast.
adventure?
The
Kinda
show was
both?
just one day of the whole trip,
Okay, okay,
and the rest of the time we're out in the outback or on the coast, kind of looking for animals out in the wild. But the
Okay.
actual show was just a one day show. It was the
Okay.
Penrith Expo, and that show made it through just by the skin of its teeth. The other show that happens out in Australia, like the next week, I heard, got
Mhm.
canceled.
cancel.
So we just made it through. Like this whole trip happened by the skin of our teeth. Like getting back in the country, having the
Uh-huh.
show that we went there in the first place happen. All of it just barely made it before everything started kind of shutting down. It like started to
Right.
shut down as we were on our way home. Everything started to really shut down. Like the night that I flew back was the night that they had the vote in
Oh, really?
to
Are you talking
declare
about like the
national
same
emergency.
night?
The same night that I flew home on from Chicago when I got the flight. It was that night that they had the vote to declare national emergency.
Oh my goodness, yeah, yeah. Like everybody like panic right now. Like I mean, the world pretty much like everywhere. Jesus Christ. I mean, I don't know.
It's interesting.
But,
The
yeah.
nice thing I like about it is that we're all kind of on the same page for once, which there's always, everybody's, and granted, sure, there's probably some people that are still out there on the fringe of some kind of thing, but it seems for the most part, the majority of people in the world right now are kind of on the same page, which is
Finally,
nice in a way. That's a big positive, I think, of it, is that we're all kind of in a similar boat right now.
Yeah.
I like that together.
Yeah.
It's too bad that it takes something like a worldwide catastrophe or pandemic to make that happen. But
Finally, yeah.
that's just the world of people, I guess. It's the way it's been as long as I can remember, which is only a small fraction of human history that I've been alive. But from what I hear,
Right.
it hasn't changed much over the past, millennia.
Yeah, it's just weird. For us, it takes something major to make us, kind of like realize, oh yeah, shoot, we need to kind of like care and then work, together, right, to accomplish better things. But yeah, because
I like to think that
remember,
Sorry.
huh? No, no,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, it's
I
fine, go
like to
ahead.
think that I kind of have that perspective even without a catastrophe. Like I've spent a lot of time around a lot of different people growing up, and
Yeah.
from all walks of life. Everyone from since I was young too. Like
Mhm.
I played in the band, like the high school band, and was into classical music. And in that sense, I'd get sent to the state honor bands every year, and
Yeah.
I was big into that. And I also played football, so I was kind of
Okay.
hanging out with the
You play
jocks sometimes.
football?
I also
I didn't
yeah, I
know
played
that.
football. I also
Oh, okay.
yeah, I skateboarded. I hung out with the stoners. I hung out. I moved around to lots of different crews. I've sat in first class on the plane next to the guy that bought one of the Hawaiian Islands. I've drank with bums under the gutter, sat with all aspects of human existence, like from the bums in the gutter to the law firm at the
Yeah.
private booth at the Guns N' Roses concert. And I
Yeah.
like to think that I've got a way of finding something in people, no matter where they're at, their station in life, something
Yeah.
of value, something that because I can honestly say, like, some of those conversations I had with one-eyed bums under a bridge drinking, sometimes there's as much value, often more value in some of those conversations than with the lawyer in the booth at the Guns N' Roses concert. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just my experience, but it's worked out pretty well so far to be able to find a common ground with such a wide variety of people out there. Yourself
Yeah.
included. Like when we're at the shows, sometimes like we'll be at the auction, and the two of us will just kind of sit there and we'll lock in, we'll have a conversation, kind of like nobody else is there. And I enjoy those conversations. That's why I'm glad you had me on here, because
Me too.
it's
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah, because the podcast is just to kind of like bring all the people that I know, right, and then all my friends, all the like big breeders or things like that, just to kind of like show people like we are just normal people. We're not like crazy people or like that people tend to believe or like prejudice or things like that. You know what I mean? And then on top of that is the main reason is to bring people that really know what they're doing. That's probably the key word, because there's so many people or kids that make YouTube video and then they think they know everything in this hobby, right? Which is kind of like lead into a lot of problems. That's probably one of the
I
reasons.
could
But other
definitely
than
say
that,
I don't know what I'm doing.
that's
I don't
fine.
know what you've been told.
Nice, fine. Yeah. No, at the end of the day, for me, the goal is just like, I just want to talk to you. It's kind of like that Joe Rogan podcast. Just like, him talking with his buddies, pretty much. And then whether people like it or not, it's their, the decision to make. It's not, us or, But, yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
just to have fun, pretty much.
Hey, fun.
So,
I'm a big fan of fun.
yeah, right?
Oh, yeah.
Share with us, how did you get involved? Because I know you experience a lot of things, right? From like footballs, like schools, and then being in a band or things like that. And then how did you end up with this reptile hobby?
Well, I kept my first snake when I was 4 years old. Was the first snake
Okay.
that I got. So I was into dinosaurs, from one of my first things that I can remember, kind of like a lot
Right.
of us, I think.
Uh-huh.
So the defining moment for me was at the age of 4 years, was a California king snake that was crawling through our backyard. And I was born and raised in Hayward until I was about 7. We moved to Livermore, California. But in that backyard in Hayward, there was a little California king snake, or good size, actually, to be fair, California king snake crawling through the grass. And I got my dad. It seems at that age I was smart enough to not just go grab some snake that I didn't know exactly what it was. I went and got him. He came out, identified it as a California king snake. And then we found out that it was the neighbor's pet that had escaped. And this neighbor was like, I'm pretty sure he was a Hell's Angel, or at least
Oh,
from
really?
some kind of biker group. And his moniker was Snake. The guy's name, and that's how we knew him as. His name was Snake, as far as we knew. And his living room, looked like this. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah?
And it kind of blew my little 4-year-old mind. And luckily, my parents were cool enough to be on board with me having a pet snake as well.
Yes,
So that's
yeah.
where it started. and that's I kept reptile. I kept snakes only, actually. Well, one box turtle. I take that back. One box turtle, but mostly snakes from that age until I was in my mid-20s when I moved to Hawaii, and then it was about a 10-year or so hiatus from the hobby during my time in Hawaii. Minus sea turtles, green sea turtles. So, I mean, lots of green sea turtles.
And then here you are now.
and then I moved back from Hawaii, found out that there were lots of other people that were into keeping reptiles, and that there was this whole community of people out here that I found via, Facebook and YouTube. And, and now I'm here. About 5 years ago that we moved back from the island.
Yeah. So, were you originally from Hawaii?
No, I was born in Hayward, California. And I grew up in Livermore. I do have a little bit of like Pacific Islander descent, especially from my mom's side. My mom was the first in her family that was born in the States, coming out of the Philippines.
Okay.
And so a lot of people in Hawaii thought I was local. Like, I'd get approached by people all the time. They'd be like,
I don't blame them.
I remember you from high school, but I remember. I was like, nah.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because
DNA testing found out why everybody thought that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because if people do not know you that well, they're probably gonna think you're at least from like Hawaii or like half Hawaiian.
The girls at the airport when I left the Australia trip, there's a couple of Hawaiian girls working at the thing at the airport, and I was just talking with them, getting my bags checked in, and one was like, "Oh, are you from Hawaii?" These are local girls. I think maybe come up Cal Poly. So I think that happens. Although the funny thing is, growing up, I didn't really get that so much. I got more Mexican.
Really?
Here in California.
What?
Which
no, you don't look like Mexican at all. Yeah.
Well, that's what I got growing up. Trust me.
Yeah. Oh. Maybe because the way you carry yourself, your look, and then your hairs, right? That definitely Hawaiian. Because
maybe my hair was different when I was younger. I had the more Mexican thing going on with shaved sides and like.
Oh yeah.
And I grew up in the area of the town I grew up in was kind of the ghetto of that town, where it's kind of more Mexican neighborhood. So I kind of blended in that way, maybe.
Yeah, but to tell you the truth, you don't look like Mexican at all, But yeah.
Give me a minute. Let me change my clothes and shave my head. I could pull it off.
You'll be like, you know what? I'll change my mind.
It's been a long time since I picked my head with a razor, but it changes things a little bit.
Yeah. Well, keep it this way because me personally, and then a lot of people probably agree with me. I mean, you look just good, just with like a long hair, things like that. Just don't change it. Don't do anything crazy with it.
All right, thanks, bro. I thought about it. There was a moment like I used these hair ties that I couldn't find for a little while. I did find some that work now, but I was like almost about to cut it off, especially after we cut off my boy's hair. I was kind of tempted at that time, so we could both be in it together, but. It's not going. Now that I found these hair ties and I've got a whole bag of them now, I don't think it's happening. Right. So, you guys that like the hair, you're safe.
Yeah, just like like Dave, right? I mean, if he ever cut like his hair, everybody gonna shock. You know what I mean? Even me. I love that guy,
pissed.
but
Dave was pissed when we cut Noah's hair. He was like, "Why?
Oh, really?
Why?" He's like, "How could you do that?" I was like, "It's his choice." He was like, "All right, well, I guess I can't fight with that." But I told him I was thinking about cutting my hair. He's like, "Don't do it."
Yeah. Don't do it ever, Yep. Other than that, because when you meet someone, right, and then the first expression or the way they look, it's gonna register on you like forever. You know what I mean? So when you change or you cut your hair or maybe you do a different thing, people are like, who the hell are you? Like, do I know you? You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. I've got a buddy. His name is Mike Love. He's actually doing really well with his music right now and touring around the world and whatnot.
Yeah.
When I first met him, he was kind of like a rocker guy, like heavy metal, kind of goth almost, like straight black hair, clean face.
All makeup and stuff, or no?
Kind of goth like that. And then I left the island for a while, and he played bass in the first band that I was playing with out there. And then he came back, and we hadn't seen each other for maybe 2.5, 3 years, and we met up at Monterey Bay Reggae Fest, and he had like full red beard and like long dreads, and he came up like right to me face to face and was like, "Hey man," and like kind of smiled. I was like, oh, this guy seems like a nice guy. He's got real kind eyes,
Right.
this guy. I looked at him, I was like, Mikey? It was the guy that I hadn't seen for years and years, only literally a few
Oh, okay.
years. To your point, like he looked completely different. I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, especially when you know that person really well, and then you don't see them for a while, right? And then when you see them again, and then they change, let's say from curly to like regular hair, or like shave their head, you'll be like, like who the hell are you? And then they just like holding on you, right? Like, hey, So I'm like, oh, no, but yeah. Speaking of which, so are you still like playing your bands? I mean, do you go like travel, or you just doing it just for fun? Do you still like active?
It's for fun. I played a show with them
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago, or maybe
Oh, you did?
a week before we left Australia. No, you know what? It was only like
Oh.
the day before we left for Australia. I played a show with those guys, and we were actually
Okay.
supposed to play another one this week, but I think everything's been canceled pretty much.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you guys playing?
The last show we played was at a place called, I don't even remember the name of the place. There's another place called the Siren in Morro Bay that we played. This group isn't really
Okay.
touring so much, like the other group I played with before.
Right.
More like kind of some local shows. The guys I'm playing with, they're younger guys. They're just kind of fresh out of college, but yeah, it's fun. I love playing music, man. I always strum my guitar upstairs and sing some songs just for my own personal enjoyment, or for the kids.
Yeah, because when we were, I don't know, it's I think it was like 2 years ago when we were at Tinley,
that
right?
house, one of the houses.
You just like
Jared
on the
rented.
floor. Yeah, you were just on the floor and then make up like random song. I was like, this guy is really talented.
You caught me in a rare
Right?
form that night, man.
Yeah, remember?
Well,
Yeah.
Not rare, but
Yeah, you just
That
like
doesn't
like
happen
laying on the
often.
floor and then looking at the ceilings and then start like randomly singing a song. So I'm like, wow, you're like really good at this. And then Gary was like, yeah, that's the way he is. I'm like, okay.
I'm glad you got to witness that. There's not
Yeah.
a whole lot. I've played music for a lot of people.
Yeah?
I played, some of the shows I played with the other band, like they were one of the biggest shows
Yeah.
we played was like 30,000 people or something. A lot of people.
Okay. Okay.
But not laying on the ground with my back,
Yeah. Yeah.
flat on the
I
ground,
see-
just singing.
I still
random.
remember you
Not
just
as-
grabbed
not nearly as
the-
many people have seen that happen. So you're in a small group of people that have gotten to see that.
That's like a
that
VIP treatment. Yeah. I still
was
remember
fun,
you just
'cause I remember
grabbed.
that
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. I mean, I still
Yeah.
remember like vividly because you just grabbed the damn guitar, lay on the floor. So I was like, what is he doing, right? And then Gary was like, he's gonna do something crazy. So and you just start. And then the funny thing is that I still cannot like fathom, right? Because the the music that you play and the random whatever statement that you just talk about, right? Like all the words, right? It match. You know what I mean? So it's not gonna be just like some boring like nonsense. It goes like flows, like everything is good. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this guy is
I
really
was-
good.
I was freestyling. You're right. It's a very you've entered into an even smaller group of people that actually seen me like freestyle
Really?
stuff off the top of my head. Yeah, that happens even less in public.
I should film that, right? God damn it. I was talking with Garrett, so I was like very busy. It's like talking snakes and stuff. But yeah, damn it. But yeah. I mean,
I'll do it
if you
sometime.
have
I gotta
that,
get loose,
yeah, I think that's probably it's good when when it comes to like dealing with like music, right? Because if you feel like you have to produce something or you have to make something, it's really hard, right? Because if you just like loose and then just go with the flow, more than often you create something great, right?
Yeah, I'd say the best stuff happens when you're not trying to make it happen. I'd say that goes beyond music. Like if you're trying to force
Anything,
something
yeah.
to happen, chances are it's gonna get all bunched up. If you feel to go with the flow, that's something that music definitely brought to my life at an early age. Is like being able to find the
Right.
flow of something, just kind of go with it and not push too hard in the wrong directions. Just
Yeah.
kind of let things happen the way that the universe is kind of laying out. This happens to me a lot, and I'm very fortunate
Yeah.
that it has. I'm able to see these steps of these ways that I need to go, and the universe is like, "No, you should, if you do this, if you just kind of follow this, and it.
Yeah.
I lose it at times. I think everybody loses at times. Anybody who's gained it, but there's like this path that you can kind of see and follow, and be like, this is the right way. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is the way that, and then not that it's the path of least resistance, because sometimes that path will lead you down a spot, be like, oh, this is going to be hard. Like this is going to be the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But
Right.
that it's the right thing to do, and if you follow it, then as hard as that might be in that moment, it ends up leading to really good things that will be good for you in your life, and in the end result actually be good for everybody around you. So that's what I always try to find, and I think music was the first place that I found that in the universe. Was like, oh, just follow the notes here and just let them, kind of feel them out and let them happen.
Right, right, right. It seems like you keep saying that universe, right? Speaking of which, I have one question, okay? And then it's just something that I always
You
intrigue
can ask
about
me
it.
whatever you want, dude.
Okay, so I'm really curious, guys. So I like to ask like questions. So um, what do you think when people say that we live in this virtual like reality kind of stuff? Do you believe that, or you think it's
Oh, you mean
just
like
woo woo or whatever?
that idea of a simulation? You mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
What
I'm
do you
open
think?
to
I
the
want to know your thought.
I'm open to the idea of it. I don't know. I
Okay.
couldn't call it and say that's for sure what's happening. I rarely.
Right.
You won't find me sticking to one idea like that I can't prove and being like
Right.
this is definitely it. Even if it's something really makes sense to me, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of different things do and a lot of different hypotheses and ideas
Yeah.
or theories or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
A lot of them have a ring of truth to me. A lot of the different theories out there, that's one of them. Like there's
Yeah.
because the other thing is there's not really a way to disprove it necessarily, because that's true of a lot of the different ideas out there that stick with people and that grab hold in any community of people and become an ideology. Is this any idea that has like a potential of truth for it? Same thing that happened with
Mm-hmm.
like the flat Earth thing, right? If you present certain facts in a
Yeah.
certain way, some people
Mm-hmm.
will be like, "Oh, maybe that's it." I mean, we can't prove that it's not, even though
Right.
there's lots of ways to maybe prove it otherwise. That's an
Right.
extreme case. But same thing
Yeah.
with the idea that you're talking about with the virtual reality or the simulation
Yeah.
that we're
Mm-hmm.
in, like we're on the
Mm-hmm.
Matrix, right? Like we're all plugged in,
Yeah.
like Neo,
Mm-hmm.
just waiting to take that right pill and see what's
Yeah.
really going on. I'm
Right.
I'm open to the idea. I'm open to
Yeah.
that idea for
Yeah.
sure.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. So, what about that law of attraction? Do you believe that?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I often find that opposites can attract as well. I mean, things definitely attract to each other. I don't know the
Right.
law of attraction word for word, by direct definition,
Uh-huh.
but um,
Right.
I think that there's definitely things that are attracted to each other. I mean, I've got
Mm-hmm.
kids. I'm pretty familiar with the law of attraction, and its repercussions or or its benefits, however you want to look at it. Depends on who's being a good kid that day. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a.
Yeah.
What is the law of attraction to
Yeah.
you? Maybe I could better answer your question.
No, because the majority of people think that like if you think about like positive stuff, right, or things that you really want in life, right, you can get it just by thinking about it, which is I don't really agree,
Mm.
because
Just by thinking about
thinking
it, I think you have to put your thoughts into action. I think it
exactly.
goes beyond, unless you're like some
That's
kind
the
of
point.
Tibetan monk who's spent years
Even
dedicated to
them
training
cannot
their
do so.
mind.
Yeah.
They might be able to change reality with just their mind at that point. But if you're just a regular
Yeah.
person like me,
Yeah.
I don't think just thinking about it is enough. You got to do something.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because the reason that we started this whole topic is because I have this one friend, and then she likes to say about like this universe this, and then that universe that, and then the law of attraction, blah blah blah. I mean, just like what you said, I'm open to like the whole ideas, right? But for me, like thinking about it itself will never gonna get you anything that you want, because
Yeah,
you have to put in the work.
I would agree with that 100% because I even say sometimes like if you think about it, the more you think about it, the less you're actually making it happen. Like you gotta
Yeah.
do something. You can't just sit there and think. It's all the thinking about it that stops it from actually happening. You gotta make it happen. You gotta move your feet, get out there, bust your ass. I mean, if you really want something to happen,
Yeah, because
sitting on your ass thinking about it is the one way to make sure it doesn't happen a lot of the time.
yeah, obviously, yeah, yeah, because she watched this I think it's like DVD or something like that, like a movie called Law of Attraction. So this Australian lady, right, this old lady, talking about affirmation, or like put out this like a positive thought or things like that. That's true, but if you're just doing so, then like nothing's gonna happen to you. I mean, if it was that easy, everybody gonna get like whatever they want, you know.
I think if you
So
combine that positive thought, but I don't doubt the
plus
power of
action.
positive thought, but you combine it
Yeah,
with action
yeah,
to make things
yeah,
actually happen. I think there's
yeah,
a lot of people are looking for some kind of easy way to make stuff
exactly.
happen. You know, that's why you
Yes.
have things like that sell out like 5-minute abs, right? Like you get 5 minutes and you'll have rock hard rippling abs. People buy
Yeah,
into it because it's like this idea of, oh, it's just that easy. 5 minutes I can do. I got 5 minutes. I
yeah,
just sat here for 5 minutes doing nothing. I can make this happen, no problem.
yeah. That's very true. So sometimes people get these really like funky ideas, and then they think everything just like easy, or like it just doesn't make sense to me. But just like what you just said. I mean, open to like any ideas. I never trying to offend anybody's. You know what I mean? I listen to them, but I never want to imply that into like whatever I do in life. You know what I mean? So yeah.
The same thing with the conversations I was talking about with like the lawyers versus these weren't just all those things that I brought up, all those examples of people that I was hanging out with. Those were pulled from real life examples. I wasn't like making up the one-eyed bum under the bridge. I've hung out with a one-eyed bum. His name was Paul, under a bridge drinking alcohol, and I've hung out with a law firm in a booth at a Guns N' Roses concert. These are real life realities that I pulled from. That was tying that in with what you were just talking about, and then I dropped it. But finding value, little bits of value when you're talking to all these different people. Every one of those people has something that they offer up, and if you can see it, it's there. Like if you listen to somebody and where they're coming from, whether even to learn like something they're doing that you don't agree with, and you're like, oh, okay, I can see where I need to steer clear of doing something like that because I don't want to be like that. There's always some value in every moment to be gained.
Yeah, that's very true. Before we move along, let's talk about YouTube, because I get this question like, I don't know, like really often, like, hey Chris, I want to start like YouTube channel, what should I do? And then the other thing is like, I'm really shy, and then can I make a video that make people gonna be like interested in watching them, or how do I start, and then what kind of like tools do I need? And then like, to be honest with you, I'm probably the wrong person to to ask.
You've
because
actually asked me some questions like that before. One of our first conversations, I think, at one of the
I remember.
was you asking me questions about
Yeah.
videos. And this goes back to something that ties in, I think, with the law of attraction, is that if you're doing something you like and you put it on video and you're enjoying the process, like, people are going to naturally be attracted to that, because I think people will gravitate towards somebody that's doing something that they want to be doing, that they're enjoying, that the person's clearly enjoying, and you can't really fake it. I don't know. So I don't know exactly what the question was, but if it was like how to start a first YouTube video, you just do it. Just do it. Don't plan it out too much. If you're looking for longevity of it, definitely plan to do it for a while. And plan to have a set schedule, I'd say, is the most important thing. And the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. I still think that I'm fairly amateur at YouTube, even though others would maybe consider that I do it almost at a professional level, which I kind of do in a way, because it is YouTube that is the responsibility. YouTube is responsible for me supporting my family right now. Without YouTube, I wouldn't be supporting my family doing what I like to do. That's a fact.
Right.
And I enjoy doing it. I think that's a big part of why it works for me, is that it's a lot of fun for me to do. So if the question is, how should I get started? What can I do to make make a video somebody likes? The video that you make, and make one. And if you don't like the first one, then try again until you make a video that you like yourself. And if you like the video you made, chances are somebody else is going to like it too.
Yeah. That's probably the best answer that what typically that I tell them is just like what you said, just do it. Be yourself, and then just do it. If people like it, they're gonna like it. If not, then there's nothing you can do about it. Because there's always gonna be people that gonna try to bring you down.
Back to the negative side of law of attraction. If you just think about making the video, it's never gonna happen. You got to do it.
Yeah, and then I was telling them that just like like this YouTube channel, I never planned to do it. It's just a lot of people been asking about it, right? And then the funny thing is, like this podcast, like I'm serious, right? I thought it was boring as hell, but for some reason people seems to like it. I don't know why. And then they keep asking, oh, I enjoy your conversation with so and so, and then can you do it again, or can you invite this person? So I thought you guys boring, like boring about it, because we just talk like there's no like picture flying around like on the screen or things like that. It just talk. People seems to like it because
It can be.
I think yeah, and
It depends on the
yeah,
person listening and watching. Somebody, like I said, there's always value to be found in some of these
yeah,
conversations. I think like that people will find
yeah,
value in it. Those that do
yeah.
will come back for more.
Yeah, I think the main part that people seems to like it is because I'm really straightforward. Like I don't really sugarcoat anything that I say. If I say, I mean, obviously, I will never drop any names. Because I try to be, I'm respectful, and then most of them they are like my friends too. But it seems like people started to like noticing like what's going on. Because
Well,
it
let's start
seems like
dropping
people.
some names, Chris. Let's start dropping some
Let's
names.
do it
People
now.
love that
Okay.
shit.
Yeah, because the point is not to create like conversation or like like arguing or drama or things like that.
Controversy.
I mean,
All right, controversy
yeah,
gets a lot of views, man.
yeah, but that's not my point. Yeah, I mean,
Then you sleep in that bed. You make that bed. You gotta go to bed every night.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just not the point, because the goal is just to make sure to share the hobby, the patience, and then hopefully people enjoy it, and then hopefully you can help people or like get to know like, oh, okay, so this guy Chris, talk to, let's say, to a Brian Kusko, right? And then he knows like how to, let's say, edit the YouTube or things like that. So they know who they need to reach out if they need something. That's probably my main goal. Other than that, I'm not doing this for like views or click or things like that. If they like it, great. If not, then there's nothing I can do about it. So
Well, you do pretty well. You do pretty well for yourself in business. You're a fairly successful business guy, aren't you? Like, I don't even know how you got in that. The first time, let me tell you, the first time I saw you was on Miguel's channel when he came over and filmed that first video
oh
that he did
yeah,
with you. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Again, I'm fairly new in the hobby,
It's
relatively
fine.
new in the hobby on that side of things. Like, I didn't know
Right.
anybody 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but you've been in it
It's
for a
fine.
while. How did you get into keeping? I don't even know that.
No, it's fine. So okay. Like professionally, probably I'm going to be like 11 years this year. But unprofessionally, like if I add like the whole thing, probably like 16 years. So yeah. So the first 5 years, I mean, I cannot really count them because that's how I like messed up, and I still trying to like figure it out. But then again, it's just a hobby of mine, like something that I used to hate the most. Everybody hates snakes, right? And then how I started was because one of my good buddies, he's actually one of my business partner. So he got me this ball python. It's a really ugly bumblebee. It was brown. I mean, you know, and then he knew that I hate snakes, so that's part of the kind of the prank or the gift, whatever that you want to call it, right? It's really funny because he was thinking to get me a watch because he knows I like to collect watches and things like that. But he ended up getting me the ball python. To tell you the truth, if he end up getting me the watch, I would never be here talking to you right now. I would never know, like Miguel, I would never get involved in the hobby at all.
Crazy.
That's how crazy
That's
it is,
definitely
huh?
a different story than a lot of other people get into. A lot of us are born
Yeah,
into the dinosaur
so
thing is one of the more common things. They're just liking to go out and find snakes. Not that their friends try to prank them on their birthday with a snake.
yeah, he, yeah, it was hilarious because thinking back then, because if he just got me that watch, I would never know anything about ball python, like nada, like zero, zip it, no, nothing. It's really funny how things works, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
And then just like what you said earlier, it's like me, personally, when I get into something, I will do it 130%, because for me, either I do it or I don't. So that's why the first 5 years, it was just me kind of like figure out like who the best people to reach out, and then the good breeders, the bad breeders, and then the good one, they're gonna support you somewhere along the line or things like that. That's how I get to know all of these people, majority of them. And then after that, then what, I'm just gonna start like having it like a fully running, well, not business, it's just kind of like like corporation, because I need to structure it up like properly, because I can go with the taxes and then the expenses, the employees or things like that. But at the end of the day, it's not my main income, for like a better word. It's just my crazy hobby, one of my crazy hobbies. But yeah, so here I am now. That's the story. The short term. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. And then how I got to know Miguel was like really funny. I was searching for Pompeii because Justin was releasing that Pompeii combos. So I just Googled it, like, Pompeii, like what the hell is Pompeii? Because back then he was like really secretive, right? Like, the
Yeah, he
ingredients,
hadn't
whatever.
released it. There are a lot of theories out there as to what it was, and
yeah. I
somebody
kind of
sent me
like
some
know.
different codes.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
kind of like knew like what's the ingredient. I missed only one of them, but anyway, so I just Googled it, and then like one of Miguel's video pop up because he bought like some of the ingredients, right? That's actually how I figured it out. Anyway, so I end up like watching his videos, and then I asked Justin's like, hey, do you know this guy Miguel? So things like that. And then because he bought a bunch of your stuff, so he's like, yeah, I know this guy. And then because I like his videos, because he's more like a genuine people's, and then family members or things like that. And then I really enjoy his video because some people like all of these YouTube video, they tend to be like being stuck up, you know what I mean, pretending like they know everything. Miguel just like being himself, like, hey, look, I just got this, whatever. So I end up I'm reaching out to him, and then I got him some of my my rec system, because I kind of like want to support him to
I remember
make
when
sure
you picked those up from you. Yeah.
yeah, because I didn't know if he like ready to like the whole setup, because back then he didn't even have that rec system. So I reach out to him, and then you tell him like, look, if you need like this rec system, I can give it to you for free, no string attached. And then he's like, are you serious? Like, what do you want from me? Things like that, So I'm like, no, just pick it up. Tell me like when, where, and then if I'm in town, then I'm gonna meet you, things like that. And then from there we become like good friends. So yeah, that's the story. Because some people think like I'm hanging out with him like every single day. If people cannot reach out to him, they reach out to me. So I'm like, dude, I do not know where he is now.
Yeah, I've had the same thing, because he's sometimes hard to get a hold of. I've been at a show that he's at too, and people are like, hey, can you call him for me?
Yeah.
So I was like, dude,
you're right. Yeah, yeah. So it's pretty funny how everything started, and then I get to know you, and then I think the first time we met was in Daytona, right?
It might have been one of the Pomona shows, but I remember seeing you at Daytona. We were sitting in the lobby with Lindy, and you walked by, and you're like, and you knew Lindy, and I was like, oh, not. That's when I kind of knew. I already knew you were in it for a while, but I think you knew Lindy, that you weren't just new into it. Like, you can't just walk around and know Lindy and be like, I'm just getting started in this thing. Maybe, but I think the majority of people that are just getting started ball pythons maybe wouldn't just walk by and know Lindy,
Yeah, but we didn't talk that much. And then I still remember I think we were in Daytona, and then I was talking with Sean Bradley, and then you just came by, and then I think you were playing with your drone or something like that, right?
That
and
happens.
then happens all the time, by the way.
I just crashed it right from across.
Are you serious?
Crashed right into the tree out front. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, yeah. And then you came to me like, hey, I saw your video with Miguel and blah blah. I'm like, oh yeah. And then since then we just talk, and then we get to know, and then here we are now. It's really funny how things works,
Well, you're an easy guy to talk to, and you ask good questions, and that works well for me, because I like, it's easier for me to talk if somebody's asking me questions, and you asked a good amount of questions about stuff like the video stuff, and that makes it easier for me to talk to people, because I'm an introvert by nature. I'm very introverted.
Really? No way.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, you did tell me that. So I was like, no freaking way.
Yeah. And I've obviously done a lot of work to get past it and be out there talking with people, but by nature I'm quite introverted. So when somebody is able to ask questions, I've noticed that I remember when I learned this with my sister-in-law, because I was hanging out with some of my wife's family for some of the first times I was meeting them and whatnot. And my sister-in-law, who's her brother's wife, asked lots of questions at dinner. And I was like, I told her later, I was like, thank you for being here, asking your questions, because otherwise I just feel like I was so awkward out of place. But when somebody's asking me questions, then I'm able to come out of the shell, because I like to answer the questions that people are asking most of the time.
Okay, this is really good. So let's say if someone have that same issues, right? So let's say if they want to make like a video or for like YouTube, but they have the same issues like what you have. How is the best way to solve that, or like conquer it, or what is the best way to kind of like just be yourself, just do it? But sometimes people tend to get caught up with the starting point, right? So knowing what you know now, or based on what you experienced so far, what is the best way that people can do?
Man, just well, the nice thing about a YouTube video, especially you're rarely doing it live unless you're choosing to do a live video, so you can just record it and then watch it back, and then or maybe have somebody you trust, or any person that's close to you in your life watch the video too, and have them give you their honest opinion, and then get some feedback before you post it live. And maybe they can be like, no, maybe try this again or try this. But just like we talked about before, just doing it is the biggest step. You just think about doing it, then you're never going to get anywhere with it. If you have a desire to do so, and you have something like being introverted stopping you, then just make a video, watch it, and go from there.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes for people, they overthink a lot of stuff, right? Especially if it is like their first video ever. But like me personally,
I still overthink stuff.
Oh yeah. I mean, I
All the
cannot
time.
talk to like for like other people's, but for me personally, I like when people, well, not screwed up, but like putting up like a really lame, unedited, raw video. To be honest with you, because you can relate to them, because when you see, let's say, people doing this like a ball pythons, like videos or things, and then everything is polished, right? Everything is perfect. It seems fake to me. You know what I mean? So if you have, let's say,
like that.
yeah, and then just be yourself, like as simple as like, okay,
That's
I just got
good
this
point right there. Just be yourself. It's scary though. It can be scary to be yourself.
It is.
On a video.
It
Let
is.
lots of people watch it, because you get random people coming in the comments, which can affect you. Like you might have some 12-year-old kid in the basement that's got a chip on his shoulder and just wants to mess somebody's day up, and go into the comments and be like, this video sucked. You're an idiot. Why would you even think about making a video, you dummy? And like that person could potentially ruin your day if you're like very sensitive about that. Like it could end up being a very bad thing for you. So it can be scary to be yourself, put yourself out there. And if you don't put yourself out there, and you just kind of make something up, it's a little less. If you create a character and somebody like attacks your character that you invented, then it's not as big a deal. But being yourself is probably one of the scarier things to do on YouTube, I would say, for most people. I've gotten past it, I think, but it can be a pretty scary thing for a lot of people, even for people who are used to it, because you do put yourself out there and you're opening yourself up to. If you put your real self out there and you bare your soul to the world on YouTube, and somebody comes along and attacks that real version of yourself, it can be something. Something you got to build to. Something I've done myself. I've built up a bit of a thick skin to people, because I put up a lot of personal stuff on YouTube, man. I put up some some really personal stuff about myself on YouTube, and sometimes people do come along and attack it, and I just feel like, just learn to let it roll off your shoulder a little bit, not let it bother you.
Right.
Tough.
That's good. Tough. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, like to just to kind of like encourage people that your first video can be just like, hey, I went to Pomona the other day, and then this is my first ball python, and then I'll see you on my second video. That's it. Cut it. Something like that. And then if you repeat, right, because once you're doing it, you'll be like, oh, okay, it's not as bad as what I thought it would be. Just start.
You don't ever have to put the video on your face either. You could do videos all day long and never show your face. It's not a requirement. That's the great thing about videos. It's like you can make whatever kind of videos you want to. You don't have to ever show your face ever. Yeah. And you could have some random nobody could ever know who you really are. That's totally a way to do
Yeah, that's true.
Like you can do that.
Yeah, I had this kid the other day send me DM, and then he's like, "Oh, can you watch my video?" And then his video was like hilarious. He just like grabbing, and then the top is like falling over, right? The lid is like open up, and then the water ball, and then he's like, "This is my first ball python. Thank you for watching," and that's it. I love it.
That video has potential to go viral, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Stuff all over
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah, because the kid was like really short, right? So he tried to grab it from like one of the shelf, like a bookshelf. So he just like falling apart, and then he still like open it like non. I mean, he cannot edit probably. So he just like opening it up. It's like, and then the snake was just like crawling around. It was a ball python. I think it's a spinner head ghost or something like that. Anyway, so yeah. So say, and then he goes like, "Yeah, this is my first ball python. Thank you for watching." That's it. Awesome.
Hey, there's
Great.
nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that at all. That some people will find
Yeah.
value in it. Like I smiled at that.
Yeah.
If I haven't
Yeah.
even seen it, like I can kind of get. I feel like that's a bit of comedy there. That's
Yeah. Yeah. So I just sent back, the MDM is like, yeah, keep doing it. I mean, you're doing great. I mean, so despite what other people, say, because like I think we both know about this, right? Because loser focus on winners, winners focus on winning. It's easy to just make a comments and then create this fake, account without, face or whatever like that, and then talk about nonsense, right? But
course,
it's
very
much
easy.
harder to make a video. I mean, I don't think they have the balls for that. So yeah.
yeah. I laugh sometimes when I see people say like, I'll
Yeah.
see people comment things like, "Oh, why?" I've got no recognition, and then like almost in the same breath, like I've never wanted to put energy into like putting out my name or making a YouTube channel or something like that. It's like,
Hmm.
wow, got what you tried for, I guess. I don't know. Yes, it's much
Yeah.
harder to put a video out than to leave a
Yeah.
random.
It's
shit
not
comment
easy.
on the
Yeah.
video. Definitely.
Exactly. I mean, let me ask you this: if you have all the access, right, all the capable, all the like resource, right, to change, to make this hobby better, what would you do?
For me, a
Yeah.
lot of the hobby is about people, and as much as the hobby is about animals, which it is, there's no hobby without animals. But on the same token, there's no hobby without people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so whatever it would take to get a lot of the people who are influential in
Mhm.
big ways in different
Mhm.
aspects of the hobby, the scientific
Mhm.
community, the zoo community, the community out in the field, the community that's making videos, the entertainment side of the hobby, whatever it would take to get all those people on the same page, and whatever that took, whether it was a conference, whether it was paying for flights for everybody to get together and meld minds on what the next steps
Mhm.
forward would be to better the entire
Mhm.
hobby, that would be it. It would be getting the people that are at the tops of their field, that
Mhm.
are potentially against each other politically, working together for something, creating a vision that everybody kind of could go to as a goal. This is something we talked about at Herpeton a bit, and Herpeton was
Yeah.
some older heads and some guys that were more scientific, like Philippe de Vaugelas and Alan Rapace put it on. Unfortunately, I got to say that's not happening this year. The virus has put a stop to Herpeton happening a second time, but having that crew meet up with the guys that are big on social media and getting all these guys that have been in the hobby for a long time and know maybe what it takes to get it to the next level, and get everybody more on the same page. That would be where I would put all those resources towards. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with the resources that I do have by getting out and meeting these different people in the hobby, getting to sit down with Eugene Bissett, getting to sit down with Philippe, getting to sit down with Brian and Kevin and these other guys that have this experience in the hobby, this vast experience in the hobby, and making those contacts so that further down the road, one of my goals is to be able to get more of these people closer together and working closer together. It's hard. It's very, very hard. Some of these people hate each other for ridiculous reasons. But getting as many people as possible on a similar page, which would benefit the hobby as a whole. Whatever that may be, whatever that plan exactly is, that's where I would pool. That's where I'd put all those resources towards. Is getting people to work together more than they are already.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I 100% agree. But just like what you just said, it's really hard. because like me inviting like one of them to like my podcast. I mean, I can jeopardize my relationship with my other friend. I'm talking about these are all like my friends. Someone that I know.
Yes,
They'd be like,
I
"Why you
can
invited that
relate to that.
person?" You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, dude,
I can
you both my
100% relate.
friends. I
I've
don't
been in
want
that
to.
exact
Yeah.
position
Yeah.
many times.
So it. I mean, I understand. Like, okay. So if you don't like each other's, right? Just can you keep it to yourself? Just doing, just do this for me. I just want to talk to you. And then he's like, yeah, but if I, go to your podcast, I don't want him to be. I mean, I cannot do that. I mean, you are both my friends. I mean, I like you guys equally. It's not like one is like more, better. I mean, I never look at anybody like that. But it's really hard, just like what you said. It's gonna be tough things that to be accomplished. It just it's a long run kind of unless something happen, could be like the hobby get crashed by the government or things like that. Maybe finally we can kind of like have this cool minded and then gather together and then try to fix it. Might be it might take that like crucial moment, just like this coronavirus in a pandemic. Could be.
Sure.
We never know. But let's just hope it never gets to that point. Other than that, I mean, yeah, the issue that they have sometimes it's just like a small, like high school kind of problem. It's not like
Very much so.
someone
Yes.
trying to steal something from you or like whatever. I mean, just like kid stuff. We all adult. Just fix it.
I
Talk
think we've
to
got very
you know.
similar ideas for why we do like these interviews. Like it's very. I think we've got a similar goal in mind as far as just getting people out there more. Letting people know about the other people that are out there and focusing on,
It's just not.
because somebody's going to come on a podcast. They're not going to explain about all the bad things they've got to offer to the world. They're going to talk about the
Yeah.
value that they're hoping to bring to the world. And so by
Yeah.
doing this, you get to bring these people forward and kind of show what is the value this person has, so that they can share it. And that's what it is, right? That's the value.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, despite our, like differences, at the end of the day, we love animals. That's the goal. Like that's our passion. Yeah, sure, you don't like this A person or like B person, C person, whatever. Just hang out, sit down and then have some beer, chill out. And then they just cannot do it for some reason. It's like really funny because every time I go to the expo, right? So for lack of a better word, they have this groupie, and then sometimes I have to like go to this one group and then I go to the other one. And then if they see me like going to the other groups, I'm like, they just like, oh, why you hang out with them? Oh my god, this is like high school all over again. Like really, like kid stuff. Like what's going on
I got
here?
past that a long time ago. I
Oh
passed
my
that a long
goodness,
time
yeah.
ago, man.
Yeah, so it's really hard. I think that's probably this is a really good thing too, because I mean most of my friends send me their T-shirts, right? Like with their logo. The reason that I cannot wear them, I mean I have them all. I'm not throwing them away or like using it for like like a mop or things like that. I keep them all, right? Yeah, but I cannot wear them because they're like, oh, you pro this guy, pro. I mean, dude, I'm just me. I like you guys, It's not like I'm pro more like shop B, shop A or whatever like that. Dude, we all friend. That's the reason
pro
because
everybody,
people
man.
asking me, yeah, and then people ask me like, hey, dude, I send you this T-shirt. Why you never like wear it on your podcast? I mean, dude, I'm just trying to be neutral. 80% of my clothes are black, so I'm just wearing what I have without any like
I'll tell you
competition.
what I do when it gives me
What would you do?
I make a point
Huh?
of one video at least once. That's what I do. Every
Oh.
single shirt that I've received from somebody, I make a point of. I've got like 10 of them up there sitting right now that I haven't worn on a video yet, and they're just sitting there because I know that I need
Yeah.
to put that shirt on and wear it in
Uh-huh.
a video at some point. They're sitting up there right now.
Oh, yeah?
I've got a bag of them. I also just pull shirts out. Like I've worn this a bunch, but this is my buddy.
Yeah.
This is my buddy Dave Dornsife, and he's like one of the first people
Oh.
I met in the hobby when I first came back. I went to his house in Arizona. He let me come over. We
Yeah.
did a video. He came and stayed with my dad and I in a hotel the first time, or the second time I went
Okay.
to a Pomona show. And
Right.
so I've worn this one more than once, but I do have a stack of shirts up there that I haven't worn yet in the video, so I know that I need
Yeah.
grab out of that pile and wear it on a video before it, because I do get a lot of shirts, and I've only got so much closet space and drawer space. I don't throw any of them away, but there are a lot of shirts that I wear. I'll wear it once on a video, be like, all right, I wore it, and I'll go put it in a pile of shirts that I know that I've worn on a video at least once.
Yeah.
And at some point, maybe I'm going to have my aunt make a quilt out of all these shirts. Is kind of the plan.
Right.
But yeah, I'm the opposite. I make sure I wear every single shirt I get. I try to make a point of making sure it gets worn at least one video.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea to make a quilt.
Time and effort to make it, send it to me. Like I want to wear it. I see your point for not doing it because you don't want to ruffle feathers with everybody. Yeah. I will ruffle feathers with everybody. I don't care who you think that I associate with this person. So you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not, the people I associate with do not make me the person I am. I am my own person. Like regardless of who I might hang out.
That's true.
Whose shirt I might wear, I am me. Like I have nothing to do with anybody else. I'm responsible for my own actions. That's it.
That's actually perfect. Yeah, but sometimes it's like pretty hard. And then the funny thing is like sometimes kind of like think like like back then when like no one knew me that well. Because I love to fly under the radar because I'm really low-key people. I don't like to brag and things like that. I love that moment before because I could go to like shows and then going in and out like less than an hour, like 40 minutes probably. Now I cannot even go through like the whole like line and then tables rows for like at least like an hour or like 2 hours sometimes. And then anonymity has its benefits. There's no doubt about it. There's some very big benefits to being able to walk through a place and have nobody know who you are. You can observe a lot more than you would be able to see. Yeah.
When somebody knows you, because sometimes you'll see it happen. Like somebody like knows you, they'll change a little bit. Like But if you're anonymous, you get to see people sometimes for who they really are if they don't know who you are. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. Like that. Yes, exactly. Yeah, because they get. And then kind of like, well, not, kind of weird, like they're acting like, Chris is coming to my tables. And then, what should I say? I mean, I just want to know about you. I mean, I don't know if you ever, like walk with me, like, through all these tables. And I never ask about the snakes. I just never ask, like, how's your family? Are you doing good? Like, what you been up to? That's it. I never like, hey, do you have like expensive snake? I never asked once, unless they mention it to me. I mean, you can ask anyone that, at the hobbies. That's the first time I asked. I mean, even like you, right? I mean, I asked like, you and family, okay? And that's it. I never asked like, hey, did you spend, like any monies with this snake? I never asked you that, So.
No. Yeah, that's what I like about you. You just kind of hang out. You've got a good vibe too. Like you're always happy when I see you. I've never seen you like pissed off or angry. You just like got this general happiness about you, which is nice. It rubs off on me.
You are the same thing too, because that's probably why we get along. I mean, we barely like hang out and spend time together, but that's probably one of the reasons we get along like well together is because remember, well, I should probably never mention this, like back in Canada, like what happened, even after that moment you still like fine. Like you still smiles and kind of like joking around just a little bit, but you really carry yourself well. Am I right? I mean, if it was me, I would be furious. I would gonna be like, like mental probably,
I had moments where I was very upset about it, yes, but I don't let it take over my existence because
I got it. Yeah,
I don't know. That's just the way I am, man. Like there's always gonna be things that happen that'll try to bring you down in the world. Like and only if you let them. It's always your choice, and it's not always an easy choice. But I always like to choose as much as possible to do the best with my time, man. It's something I'm thankful that I have the ability to do most of the time. I still do sometimes little things still do get to me and bring down my world. Like my kids today were being a little bit crazy, and then my wife I was being a little bit impatient. And then my wife came down on me for being impatient, and I was like, why? And sometimes things get to you, and you get pissed off. It happens. But and I think the more control you have over the thing that's pissing you off, the more it can maybe piss you off. Like I married this woman. I produced these children. This was all my own creation. You know what I mean? So it gets to me a little more. Whereas somebody stealing my camera off a table, like I didn't really have much to do with that. It's like somebody else chose to make that happen. I was like, what am I going to do about it now? Like try and find it, I guess. But having the less control I have over a situation, the less angry I get about it, I think.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the reasons. Like
now with you.
Are you serious? This is a good section for like
Yeah,
therapy or something.
I'm making a breakthrough with myself. The more control
Like,
I have of a situation, the more it pisses me off.
yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah, because not many people, like, able to carry themselves that way, especially, like losing something that they, well, not, you know, not really that they really care, but it's something that really like meaningful to you, because you lost like the whole, that video card, remember? And then
Footage.
you just like,
The footage was the
yeah,
biggest.
it happens. I'm like, what the hell?
But
Yeah.
I just saw that as a new opportunity to be like, well, I just need to come back and do it again. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have fun doing it, and I did. I came back the next year, and I
Yeah, you
made
did.
2 awesome videos of the show, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
And that was my mindset even at the time that it happened. It's like, well, I'm just gonna have to come back and do it again, and that's what ended up happening. Not just because I thought about it, but because luckily some other people really wanted me to come back too. And so
Yeah.
I helped them along with that invitation. It's like, yeah, I do want to come back. Let's make that happen. What do I need to do to make that happen?
Right.
And let's do it. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
That's
the
probably
camera
one of
was
the.
like,
Yeah, but still, I mean, because I think, I mean, like me personally, the way I look things is that like, things happen for a good reasons most of the time, and then I believe that good things always happen for good people, you know. So that's probably one of the reasons too that a lot of people in this hobby like you, because they they see you as who you are, not based on the video that you make, if that makes sense to you. You know what I mean?
I like the people in the hobby too. That was one of the main reasons I created a YouTube channel, so I could find people out there that that I could vibe with, and I've got to find lots
Yeah.
of people. I'm super fortunate for all these people I've gotten to meet and to hang out
Right.
with, and now have as friends, yourself included. And it is important to me to, and it doesn't matter to me like who somebody is. Like if you have a love for the animals, even if you don't, like even if you're just a person I got to meet,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter to me as long as you got a good vibe
Yeah.
and we're having fun. Like that's all that matters to me.
Right. Last question, because I don't want to hold, because I would rather you spend more time with your family, things like that. So last question, I promise. What is next for you? What is your goal? So let's say if 3, 5 years from now, and then I see you again, like what would you want to be accomplished by then?
I don't know that I can accomplish this in 5 years, not because it's not possible, but because
Uh-huh.
at the rate that I do things, I've got ways that I like to spend my time, and I don't like to spend. I do spend a lot of time working and doing things, working towards stuff, but I do also like to spend a large amount of time with my family. To your point, which is part of the reason you brought up this up as the last question, I really value the time I get to spend with my family, even if they're driving me insane and making me, go up the wall. I still love them with all my heart, and my time with them is irreplaceable. So I don't like to spend all day working on something to make something happen faster. I'll peel off from work, sooner than later, so I can have that time with the family as well. Which is why I don't think that this will necessarily happen in 5 years. But if it does, it would be where I see myself, is eventually having a facility where the public can come and hang out with the animals, and I can be the bridge to help people have these experiences with animals in person, which I've already started to do. Unfortunately, they've been canceled because a lot of schools shutting down. I had a show scheduled for this week and last week, and I have more I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next coming year, this next rest of this year, because I have like all the libraries in the county booked for the summertime, where I'm going and bringing animals to people, but large groups of kids, and getting them to have hands-on experience with the animals. So something like Jay has going on, or something like Brian has going on now, a place like that, where it's a building, instead of having to pack the animals up and bring them to people, to where people can come to the facility, and a reptile zoo that people can come to and have hands-on experience with the animals. That is where I would like to see myself in the not distant future, but 5 years or so would be.
Okay.
That's exactly, without a doubt, that's exactly where I want to be. I want to be in a place like that.
Okay.
And I want to have my buddy Riley down from Sacramento Zoo back here, and I want him to be like one of the main animal handlers. I've got specifics, like it's down to specifics. I'd like it to be in either San Luis Obispo town or Santa Barbara. I'd be okay with Santa Barbara too.
Yeah. You actually close to Brian Gandhi, right? Oh no.
Yeah, Brian's about 2 hours north of me. Brian was one of the
Okay.
first people I talked to when I moved back from Hawaii because of his YouTube videos.
Oh.
And he
Yeah,
puts
yeah,
his
yeah,
phone
yeah.
number out on a lot of the videos. Oh, here's my phone number. Blah. I was like, this is guy just
Yeah.
put his phone number out on the internet? I was like, let's see if this. I called it. I was like, let's see what's going on here. Hello? And he's like, hi, this
Yeah.
is Brian. I was like, oh, sweet. So, yeah, he's about 2 hours north of me. Yes. Brian Gundy.
Okay. Okay.
I love that man, dude. He's a very special person.
He's the best. Yeah, I love that guy. Yeah. Um, the goal that you really want, actually, it's doable. It takes time, obviously.
Yeah.
But
I think it's doable,
yeah, 5, 8, or even like 10 years. I mean, you'll get there. I mean, like knowing how your work ethic and things like that, you'll get there. So technically, you wanna be like or have like that reptilian, right? Like a Brian Barczyk, and also maybe like prehistoric kind of thing. So have a shop, and then kind of like do that experience.
Yeah,
with
I'd
other
like to
people, like
find my
birthday
own way to
party.
put my
Okay.
own twist on it to make it different
Got it.
than theirs, of course. But yeah, have that same type of thing where
Okay.
people through, and even if it's just not a successful, but just to be able to do that. Whether I'm doing something else on the side to support that happening, but that's what I'd like to have happen.
Right. And then if anyone interested with your what do you call that thing, that service that you actually have, that birthday party or whatever?
Oh, so I took that over from a gentleman named Brandon Fowler, who had been doing it for the past 10 years in in Bakersfield area.
Okay.
It's called Roaming Reptiles, and he's actually doing it out in Wisconsin right now. He moved to Wisconsin, and it was him moving to Wisconsin and asking me to take over the California side of it for him. Is what got me into that. And he had asked me before, and I told him that I didn't have time because I didn't think I did, and but then he kind of put me on the spot and was like, if you don't take it over, I'm going to shut down the program entirely. And I was like,
oh, yeah.
It's like, okay, 1 day a week. And he's like, after you do one, trust me, you're going to do more. And the next thing I knew, I was like, okay, whatever day a week I can book them.
Right. So is it like a school kind of type of program, or is it gonna be like like birthday party or like event, or like how do you guys structure it?
It's been both. It's been I'll go do assemblies at schools. Have like 4 assemblies at one school throughout the day, or I'll go to one assembly at a school or a birthday party. But the majority of it so far has been schools. And like I said, this summer we were planning to hit all of the libraries in both Kern County and San Luis Obispo County. We kind of had tentatively booked, or actually physically booked. I'm so curious to see like where everything's going to spin to with the way things are going right now, and how. Because if it doesn't turn around before then, I mean, those shows probably won't be happening if we're all still stuck in our houses for the most part, and libraries aren't open. Then those shows aren't going to be happening. But that was the plan. I've only been doing it for the past few months now, so it's kind of a relatively new thing for me.
So if they wanna be part of that, so let's say if someone have like a birthday party, and then they need, that kind of like event or things like that, they just reach out to you, and then how long do you need, to be prepared? I mean, let's say if the birthday like next month, do they need
plenty of time. It's
okay.
Usually, like I had one that I had a lady that called me. They were looking to have something happen. She called me like a week before, and I was like moving to Australia since. So basically, as long as I'm not booked doing something else, then if you were like, hey Brian, we can't do it tomorrow because of it's just not we wouldn't be doing the right thing by me touching a lot of people and all being in a very close proximity. We wouldn't be doing it right. But if it wasn't currently in Corona pandemic mode, you could potentially be like, Brian, I got a party tomorrow, and tomorrow I actually happen to be just doing work from home, so I could be like, okay, I can do that later. I'll be at the party.
Got it.
So,
So
that's
okay.
I literally need just the night before.
Oh wow, okay, that's really fast. Overnight kind of service,
that I don't have
right?
something booked for the next day. But
Okay. Before we close this, anything else that you wanna share with us, or talk about?
not really, man. I mean, there's lots of things I could continue to talk about. I've learned that
me too.
I can talk for a long time. But no, I mean, I'll only talk as long as you have questions. And if you're out of questions. I'm still working on this first glass of whiskey right here. If I have a couple more, we'll be here.
What are you
till, like, 4 in
having?
the morning.
What kind of whiskey?
This is straight out of a urinary tract
Oh my God! Are you serious? It does look like a urinary.
jokes.
Oh.
Somewhere. I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, don't worry about it.
Jones is, but
Okay.
it's not
Okay.
official branded whiskey.
Yeah. It's fine. Yeah, because like we can talk like all night long, but obviously people not gonna like stay tuned until like 4 hours or things like that. So and then
No,
on
I
top
would-
of that, I don't
I-
wanna take you away
I would have checked out
from your
probably
family. So
45 minutes ago, probably. Yeah.
damn
I
it.
appreciate you having me on, Chris. It's always good talking to you, man. I always
Yeah.
enjoy our talks.
Yeah.
Quarter to 9.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Brian, thank you so much for your times, and then hopefully we hang out soon. And then when is the next show again? Is it gonna be like June in 14th, right? What about us in California? Do you know when is our next show? Do you know?
I heard a rumor. Well, the next one that I would be attending for sure, without a doubt, would be the Pomona show in August.
Oh, August.
I don't know
Okay.
if that's happening or not. I don't know yet. I think it's too soon to call if that's happening or not. But I think there were some other shows that were going to happen sooner that probably aren't happening either. But the next one I
Yeah.
would be attending without a doubt is the Pomona show in August.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good. All right, Brian. Have a good night. Say hi to your families, and then I'll see you when I see you then.
Sounds good, Chris. Thanks, man.
All right, brother. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
Later, brother. Peace.